So before I answer that question, why didn't I go LS? I noticed in my last video my hands are very shaky and it's been bugging me forever. So Matt Lynch actually gave me a recommendation and I've been playing around with it a little bit. So I'm going to be swapping over to Smooth Q gimbal, and hopefully that's going to make a lot of it, you know, less fucking shaky and stuff like that. So I'll show you that real quick. So that case, instructions, because I'm still learning, and this is it here. It's fucking awesome. I'm gonna lose so much time and probably get absolutely fuck all done on this today. We'll swap over to that now. We are now using the gimbal. I've set it on following mode, I think, so it should generally sort of follow me around, maybe, I don't know, but hopefully it's coming through a lot smoother and then you can't notice my hand shaking all over the place, and we can bring some cooler shots like this one.
I am the king, I am the chief, I am the leader that's fighting for peace. You see the squad, I got the keys, there is no surrender, we will not leave. So when I'm calling, they rally the troops, we have defeated some bad in your groups. You got a problem, I'm grabbing the suit, no section, everyone attacking the crew. That is the truth, do it too long in the tooth, look at the weapon you choose, you're gonna lose, look at you.
To answer the question why I've gone to all this trouble to build a drift car to this level and I didn't put an LS swap in it, basically because you just don't need it. I've driven a few cars now, RB, LS, JZ, and you know what, the power's cool. It's a different power band. However, I don't like it. I don't like the extra weight that they put over the front. I think it just completely throws off all the balance, and I think Nissan got it right the first time around when they put the SR20 in. You know, all these people were like, oh, I need extra power or I need reliability because SR's a joke, blah, blah, blah. I've done countless events now where LS, RB, not so much JZs, have blown up, and I've just fucking continued the whole day killing tyres with a completely standard SR20. And anyone who says they need more power to drift, I think is just wrong and maybe trying to cover up the fact that they can't actually drive, because there's a bunch of boys out here in WA that drift with NAs and they fucking kill it. Like, they can keep up with me when I had 200-ish horsepower and they've got a lot less. And it just goes to show that power and wires fab and an LS swap ain't gonna make you a good driver, unfortunately. So instead of doing the LS swap, I've gone along and I have spent all the money in building a pretty reliable, hopefully reliable SR20.
Everything I used to dream being real right now, now. If it wasn't working, I'ma work it out, yeah. I keep on going till the lights go down, yeah. Till the lights go. Everybody wanna make millions, but not everybody been working. Everybody know they got brilliance, but not everybody been searching. Everybody rap about money and hoes, but they got neither. Everybody knows, always been keeping it real. Every time that I spit in the flow, I've been going to get it, they not gon' forget it. I've been going up, they been staying afloat. My music been personal, telling my stories. I'm telling the truth and my life been exposed. Talking to fans that we in it together. I'm never gon' turn even under the pressure. I'm keeping it true to myself. Don't matter to me if the curtains are open or closed. Everything I wanted, I got it. Always wanted more, so I'll never be stopping. Everyone asking when the new dropping. Pressure been building, but it's a good problem. Graduated college and now I got options. I was bringing more, all these rappers take caution.
The SR20 that was in it was just getting a little bit tired. You know, it was leaking oil from pretty much everywhere that an engine could leak oil. And, you know, there was a few little other things going on with it that was just time to retire it. So I've been building this up for a little while. It is basically a stock crank SR20, CP pistons, forged rods. It has 264 cams in it and a few other little bits and pieces done to the head. Nothing over the top. It's a pretty basic SR when it comes down to it. However, that was the key behind it, to keep it simple, proven parts and reliable. And we're not going to be going for massive power. As you saw, that's not a big turbo. It is a GTX Mamba 2871. The reason I went with a Mamba is basically because we're going to do this car in a few stages. So we're going to get it running and we're going to run it on 98 and we're just going to drive it because I am fucking fiending for a drive. It's been way too long. So we're going to do that, get used to it, then we're going to jump over to E85, do a few other little upgrades there, and we might see the 350 horsepower mark, and that will probably be pushing that turbo's limit. From there, We're going to go to something else, a touch bigger. I haven't decided yet, haven't even looked into it. And then we're going to be running some nitrous as well, just to help spool the turbo up and make it as competitive as possible. Now, the main reason behind building this car as a SR20 with this kind of setup is because we wanted it reliable and responsive. Now, a SR20 with a 2871 is pretty much primo setup for power versus response. There's plenty of other cool features in there as well. You know, there's the shaved engine bay. Now that serves absolutely no purpose other than looking sick, because at the end of the day, drifting is all about style, and some people just don't fucking have it. I love my cars looking good. That's why they have big wheels, they're slammed, everything's done as quality as possible on a drift car without going over the top. And you'll notice that throughout the engine bay. Everything's been painted. Every bolt has been replaced with a zinc plated bolt. All the conduit's been redone. Everything's been hidden as much as possible, as you've seen with the fuel pressure regulator. We've deleted the brake booster because that looks ugly as fuck. Our pedal box was just a bit over the top at this stage of the build. We're going with a flip cooler, just again, shorter intercooler pipes, not that it really makes much difference. And then that does look a fair bit neater. We are running 760, I think, top feed injectors with a Raceworks fuel rail. They're obviously temporary until we go to E85, where we'll jump on to bigger injectors. It has a stupid fuel system. So it's got a Aeroflow pump to prime the surge with a Holley Dominator, which is just absolutely overkill. -8 feed line, -6 return line. Again, overkill for a 98 setup. However, it is more for just trying to work towards the future. You know, we'll change the injectors, happy days. And if we go even bigger, that is a twin entry rail, so we can have 2 feeds going into it as well. We left the plenum stock because there has been instances where copy plenums have actually reduced power, and there's no real need. These are great for the power range we're working towards. And the bigger plenums are generally suited to the cars making the bigger power, and we definitely don't need that. So that stayed as responsive. There's heaps of little tricky bits going on. Not there sure if you noticed. There's a Tarx low mount power steering pump mount, so that drops it lower. In the aircon spot, just looks real tidy. External reservoir, so we can keep those strut towers nice and clean from where the factory one goes. We've got a Tarx oil filter block. We've got a Tomei block on the side of the engine. We've got the catch can lines actually running to the boot. Regs mean you have to have a 2-litre catch can for an SR20. So instead of putting one and clogging up my engine bay, we have decided to run it to the boot. It did cost a fair bit more than I originally planned, but it looks awesome, and again, the bay is super clean and tidy. Matt from Mert Automotive is doing all the bar work, and he's going to be doing the intercooler piping, intake piping, and it's getting a full 3-inch exhaust. There's a 6-boost manifold. It has a teal, 30, 40, teal. It has a teal wastegate on it. I think it's actually a 44mm. There's a screamer pipe already there. That's something we snagged off one of my previous cars. That is actually a Plasma Man intercooler. So I'm pretty sure it's rated to like 45 PSI a boost, which is absolutely plenty. Cooling, it's got an alloy radiator. Same one that was actually used in the old setup. That worked really, really well. We were seeing temps of about 80 degrees with a Nismo thermostat. We've also replaced it with a brand new Nismo thermostat, not taking any chances. One other thing we've done to the motor is a GTIR oil pump upgrade. Now, from my research, it says that these are about a 25% increase in oil pressure, which SR20s are sort of notorious for having that sort of low oil pressure, especially under hard driving, and you know, the oil's just not getting where it needs to get, which is why they're so common for spinning bearings. We have a titanium sump. It is actually a Tomei copy item. It does look the goods, and you know, it's pretty much half price, so we saved a little bit of money there. Every single line in this car has been replaced with Speedflow. So I've made Mark from Lost Racing a very rich man, I feel. So power steering lines, oil block lines, catch can lines, fuel lines, turbo lines, clutch and brake lines, they're all Speedflow. So Hopefully we have no issues. You know, SR20s, especially from the power steering, are notorious for leaking. So hopefully that solves a lot of issues. Again, with the type of build that we're going for, I decided to take it off the road a bit early in 2017, didn't finish out the season, so that I could come here, build a car, and hopefully the goal is to just reliably drift for a good 2-3 years, which I don't think is asking too much from this kind of setup. Behind the SR20, we have an Exceeded twin plate. It's a used item that I had in one of my other cars that was just sitting around not doing anything. We have a VG box with a Alpha Omega conversion kit going out to a one-piece tail shaft, still to the welded diff. And I'm going to rock that welded diff until it breaks, because I much prefer my weldies over two-ways. As you guys saw from the video, there has been extensive bar work in this engine bay besides the smoothing. So a lot of that was to just build a simple engine bay that we can pull the motor in and out of with absolutely zero stress. And then all the tubes are replaceable, obviously, if we have a serious accident. The reason behind the tube front originally being there was because I put this car into a wall head first, and instead of trying to replace all the crumpled sheet metal, it was a lot easier to do a tube front. We've also done the tube on the rear. It wasn't 100% necessary at this stage. The rear could be panel beaded out to where it looked presentable. However, we decided to just sit there and do everything at once so that we just have zero worries. Whereas in 2017, I was constantly chopping and changing, always rushing around trying to get the car ready for events, and I just don't want to do that this year. So everything about this build, we've been working towards just having as little go wrong as possible. Everything works together nicely, and we just have as little downtime as possible, which means maximum seat time. And in saying that, it hasn't even broken the bank too badly. When it comes to off chops, off lips, fucking race cars, this is well under budget for everything that's gone into it and how competitive a type of car this is going to be once it's completed. And that's where we're going to leave this one. So we're going to do a couple more where we just run through specific parts about the build and why it's sort of headed down that route. So yeah, stay tuned. Anything you guys want to know or want to see, put in the comments, and don't forget to do that gay shit like liking and subscribing, because that actually helps motivate me to make these dumb videos. So until then,